just start off right this. Just keep going.
Okay.
This is Two Classy Gentlemen Podcast on Culture Culture. Yeah, that is the worst decision in history of decisions they're going to make. It's a terrible decision, terrible decision to show up to Portland on September 26th. So, okay, we live in an age of media where everything the right wing does is basically criticized and called white supremacists. Everything the Patriot Prayer and Proud Boys do are considered white supremacists. Are considered evil.
That means that they should just stop showing up to places?
Not that they should not. They could show up to places. I don't care. Just imagine how you're going to make the right wing look when you show up. You set a date. You don't live in that part of the country. You go there and you say, hey, we're going to march in Portland, the place where, again, it's over. Portland is like Chicago and Detroit right now. It's over. There's no saving it. Why go there and do something about it when nobody's going to change? You know what the first thing's going to happen when somebody dies and it's on the left? Oh my gosh, it's Charlottesville all over again. That's what's going to happen. And I guarantee you that. And then you're going to have Enrique, you're going to have Biggs, you're going to have those boys going to jail because you know what? They want to make a point. Is the point probably correct? Probably. But is it worth going to jail?
To be fair, there's other shit going on with ex-Proud Boys that would have law enforcement more interested in that.
The issue is that how's the media going to portray it? How are people going to see it?
Well, I mean, the Proud Boys, while there have been instances, and like those are the most prominent where there have been violent encounters between Proud Boys and other groups of people, primarily Antifa, the Proud Boys have also been capable of being in encounters and walking away without any violence occurring. So it really just depends on who, and I think that they've been around for long enough at this point to be able to determine who in their structure would be appropriate for attending something like this. And I do think that they've become more organized, and I think a lot of that has come from, discovering weak parts, loose holes in their structure.
I have a question for you. What is the best case scenario? What is the outcome of them being there? What is the best case scenario outcome of them being there?
Okay, so I'll give an example. When they said that they were going to show up to the Chad Autonomous Zone, the city government released a statement the next day that they were going to start removing people themselves. So if there's enough hype built around the Proud Boys going in the first place, sometimes it provokes action on behalf of the state government or on behalf of law enforcement because they don't want to be a part of or to wait to get to the point of intervention from perceived militias like the Proud Boys.
I agree with that on that scenario. The issue is that this is Portland. This is This is like the place that the police don't even show up anymore, and they're not going to show up because the mayor doesn't want them. Pretty much, they've gotten.
Yeah, but they don't want the Proud Boys to show up either. So if it's a matter of like the National Guard or something else to get to the point, because they would much prefer to send in the National Guard to be perfectly frank, considering the PR that would go around. Or, I mean, they do go and hopefully nothing awful happens, or they go and they get attacked, which is another distinct possibility that's on the table. And some are gonna, I'm gonna suspect that most are gonna fight back actually. And what happens in that scenario, there's like another, like an elongated series of court cases around personal defense versus assault, or like gun cases.
I mean, I don't know if a Antifa or BLM member has gone to jail for assaulting a Proud Boy or Patriot Prayer Boy, but I do know that there's been guys from those sides that have been arrested for simply defending themselves, and they got 4 or 5 years because they were fighting outside a bar and protecting themselves. So I've only seen, based on what my knowledge is that the right-wing guys are getting arrested and put in jail for years, and so it's just, I see it almost as a throwaway of your life if you go there and you make any type of an effort to defend yourself or do anything physical at all, even if I mean, Kyle Rittenhouse, after going through everything, he is still sitting, I believe, in jail right now. So imagine him defending himself clearly. What's going to happen to the Proud Boys and Patriot Prayers when they actually go there and out of state, going clearly out of state lines, going there and meeting up with an aggressor? You know that more likely than not, you're going to get in a confrontation with, and guess what? Someone's already been shot and killed on their side. So this is different than 2019 with the whole, we drove in a bus and we got footage there. This is, you're meeting with people who want to shoot and kill the Proud Boys and the Patriot Prayer. They basically want to. They were cheering when that happened.
Yeah, exactly. They were cheering for the guy that got shot after they like announced where he was at. So that was really terrible.
Yeah, I'm nervous. I'm nervous for them because I don't want anybody to die. And it's one of those things where it's like, if you don't show up, you don't die, because guess what? You're not going to be there.
I understand, but to a certain degree, if you don't show up, you don't affect change either. And these guys, I hope it doesn't get to that point, but the reason that they went from being just like a spin-off of a drinking group to this kind of like makeshift security group is because the police made it very clear that they were heading in a direction where they weren't going to be protecting conservatives. And then, the defund the police crowd started up. So they went from like, not liking conservative people because they're likened to Nazis, to getting rejected by the other side in its entirety. And, they're, being publicly castrated so they don't reinforce laws. And other than that, they already had a bias against conservatives in a large degree. So the Proud Boys became a necessity for events because we needed people who were going to care if somebody tried to attack. And I have been in situations where people have tried to cause problems and people have tried to start fights or attack other people that I was with. But if it weren't for the Proud Boys being there, it would have gotten a lot worse and the police weren't doing anything. So I understand, like, as having, like, if I hadn't had those personal situations, I'd probably agree with you a lot more. But I just, like, have seen firsthand how having them around is beneficial in a lot of these situations. And like I said, also, like, my biggest indicator when it comes to these, especially when they're planned in this regard, like, they're putting pressure on the local government to do something before they do, or they're putting pressure on like the state to do something before they do.
My question to you is that when has anything that's ever been planned actually gone through successfully? Think about it. If you think about, I'll put it in broader terms. Obama basically digitalized and told everybody that we're leaving Iran. They told, hey, we're leaving this date. Guess what? Goodbye. So, and guess what? ISIS came right back through. So if you televise what you're going to do, like, hey, we're coming September 26th to your town, you're basically saying, hey, get ready for us, get ready for us. Again, I really don't believe in Portland at all. I don't believe in the mayor. I don't believe in the city. I don't believe in the district itself. I think they're going to just let chaos ensue because they don't care. They really don't. Everybody's already left. Everybody who's important there already left. So that nothing, it's going to be just basically a big wide open area in that city. And they're just going to go at it. And then likely it's going to be the Proud Boys and Patriot Party who get arrested. And it's going to be Antifa who gets off with the GoFundMe page for millions of dollars, like we've already seen, get through, and nothing's going to happen to them. And you're going to have somebody, maybe 4 or 5 people on the right, get arrested and go away for maybe 5-10 years. And if they kill somebody on defense, they're going to get life because, hey, you killed somebody, you weren't supposed to be here. Even if you are defending, you still showed up and you still killed somebody. In that hypothetical case, I only see bad things happening. That's just my opinion. Long term, I think he's going to be fine because he has a perfect case for himself. He actually worked in the area. He was actually there at the time. His gun, he didn't just like bring it across. It was actually there for him to go defend the place. So all his stuff fit out. And again, if you do that, if you're a business owner or you work at the business and you happen to be there and you're like, hey, I got a gun, I'm ready to go defend myself. That's one thing. But when you're legitimately going out of your way, like certain groups are starting to do, and go across and know there's going to be trouble, and again, whether they be right or wrong, you're going to get in trouble. That's what's going to happen. Again, it's a sad double standard, but I think it's only going to get worse because Trump's not going to do anything. We've already seen that. Trump's not going to do a darn thing about at all. Because guess what? A little tweet called Law and Order in all capitals, that does nothing. Is he going to show up to Kenosha? Yeah, he did. Is it going to do anything? Probably not. I mean, they brought the National Guard. That settled it because, again, he was like, oh, I got to do something. But overall, Portland's not going to get anything. Chicago's not going to get anything. New York's not going to act because they don't want to make Trump look good. And Trump doesn't want to stop it because it's helping his poll numbers. His poll numbers are the only thing that matter to him until November 3rd. And then he'll probably do something. But up until November 3rd, he's going to say, hey, look, this is Biden's America. This is Harris's America. Even though right now it technically is his America.
Yeah. Well, I mean, argument, I understand that side of the argument, but like the people who are burning and looting and doing all kinds of crazy rioting and killing aren't the people on the right. So.
Oh, 100% believe. No, and I would never say it's the right. It's clearly not. But the issue is that you've already heard Joe Biden, and again, as incoherent as Joe Biden is, he's already gone. Look at all these right wing people burning down stuff. He's already said that. He's already implanted in 60 million voters' head that it's the right. So now you're going to start getting people to show up, and you're going to get the media to now going, oh man, look at these right wing people. Look at these Patriot Party showing up to events, doing stuff, causing trouble. Oh look, now they're burning down stuff. Even if it's not them. Oh look, they burnt down stuff. Oh look, they did this or that. And you're going to start getting a bad narrative towards yourself, and that's the last thing they need.
You know, I've been reflecting as to like how the history books are going to remember this time period, and it like makes me really nervous. I wonder how much of this is going to make it in there.
Depending who wins is going to be it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's lies agreed upon, written by the winners.
Yep. Always has and always will be and forever will be as well. It's just that's why I'm concerned because again, I think Biden's going to get creamed in the election. The issue is going to be 2024 when the pendulum swings so far left. Like the pendulum swung from Bush to Obama to Trump. What's going to hit us in 2024?
I don't know, but we have to make sure that we hold solid and that we keep building out Republican roots in, lower levels of government as well.
It's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. Because it's going to be a Buttigieg. It's going to be a Elizabeth Warren type person. It's going to be an AOC type person, and we are going to get raked over the coals in every way possible.
So, how are you feeling about your boy Kanye, though?
You know what? He was on Nick Cannon, I think 2-3 days ago. He seems cleared. He seems like he's on his medication. He seems fine. I have no personal vendetta against him because he's not doing anything harmful. He spoke out again about the abortion stuff, about how he had to apologize to His wife, which again he shouldn't have brought it up in public, but now since it's out in public, he's got to talk about it because it happened.
Yeah.
He apologized to his father. He's like, I am so sorry for bringing this upon us. So he's doing the right thing. Has he said anything outlandish other than the Wakanda statement, which keeps getting taken out of context? Because he said that for the White House, which is different than the actual government, because he didn't say Congress in the Senate. He said the White House, treating it like a chain of command there. Which again, is that wrong? Other than the fact that Black Panther literally just died a couple days ago. Other than that, I don't see Wakanda being a terrible setup. It's a better setup than Obama and Trump have right now, with literally just Kushner right now being this main setup. We basically have an oligarchy in the White House right now. So I don't know what's worse, an oligarchy or Wakanda. I don't know.
I don't know. I still think Wakanda's worse.
I honestly, I don't even know what he meant by it. I don't think anybody really knows what Wakanda government means or what kind of setup means. But again, I think he's a Christian based off what he said. He hasn't gone into any spiral about like, oh my gosh, we're gonna start talking. He hasn't talked that I think about Maxwell like Trump has, and Maxwell apparently knew them and knew Kim, but he hasn't talked anything like, oh man, that Maxwell, I hope she has a fair and well and is doing very well with them. He didn't say that. Our little boy Trump in the White House, when asked a question, said that. So far, I'm seeing a couple of check marks for Kanye. Am I going to vote for him? He's not in the state of Florida ballot, so I'm not. I already said in the beginning to other people, I'm like, if he's not on the ballot, I'm not signing off on him because he's not on the ballot. But if he's on the ballot, just because I'm pissed off with everything going on, I'll probably do it. But he won't because he missed the deadline. So it is what it is.
So you do. I don't know. I'm really thinking that Biden and Harris are doomed. We had a conversation about Heels Up Harris where things got a little bit, spicy. But I really do think that he put the final nail in his coffin by picking Harris, because she's just, he's already unlikable and demented, and she's thoroughly unlikable to all the people that she was supposed to be appealing to. What do you think the debates are going to look like?
Have you ever seen elder abuse?
Yeah.
That's what it's going to look like. It's going to be a 73, 74-year-old Trump just dismantling a 70. If you see Trump at a rally compared to Biden at a press conference, Trump's taking more questions at a rally than Biden's taking at a press conference. He even told one of the, I think it's Ducey. I think he told the son of I can't remember what his name is, but his last name is Ducey. He said, he goes, hey, I know you're a hardballer and you don't like me, but I'm gonna take your question anyway. That's what he said. That's what Biden said to the Fox News reporter, who literally just said like, hey, you said this, but in your campaign ad you said this. Which one is it? That's all he said to him. And Biden went on a 15-minute rant today about some random thing about how Trump is bad in that conversation. And he's like, but you didn't answer my question. He goes, all right, see you guys, I'm out. And then Trump is literally walking around with a microphone in his hand, hey, and Joe Biden, he doesn't look too good for a 78-year-old, but that 84-year-old Marine over there, he's killing it. He's making fun of him, but supporting the troops at the same time. It's like, I don't know how he's doing it, but it's pretty good.
Well, I mean, Trump is really good at playing to a crowd. That's one thing that he is, very well recognized for, is being able to play off of people, which is why Corona was such a huge hit to him for such a long period of time, because he really vibes off of the energy of the people. That's why he was, the heel in WWE, and that's why he was, the apprentice guy. And it's not exactly a mystery that somebody who would be involved in investments would get involved into economics and then politics. But it's interesting.
Go ahead. The only issue right now is I'm looking at is that with the whole economy, not his fault because Corona happened, and he literally did. I think he did more than he should have. I'm going to be completely honest with that. I think he should have I would have almost wanted mandates for the fact that we shouldn't have to do some things and take a little bit of an overreach, just because it was getting so crazy. But again, he couldn't do it because he was staying within the constitutional bounds of what he has. The governor screwed us over, and we're on a stock market bubble that is going to pop probably in March or April of this upcoming year, because guess what? That's when your taxes come out, and we're going to be paying a boatload of taxes, and there's going to be a lot of foreclosures on houses because everybody's getting propped up by not paying their rent or their mortgage because they can't afford it. So we're going to get creamed in March, April. That's my prediction.
Well, honestly, like I'm not too sure. It really it depends on how quickly we're able to get people to, start fluctuating back into the economy. And I think, with a Trump victory, that's going to be a lot faster than it would be with the Democrats who are swearing that they're going to keep with mask mandates and all of that stuff as well. As well as like vaccines and all that crazy stuff, which is horrifying for me to think of as somebody who's like trying to plan being a mom. I don't want to have to think about mandatory vaccinations for coronavirus to travel or any of that crap.
Well, sadly enough, if the whole vaccine thing, you're going to have to give your kids, unless you plan on homeschooling or just not doing school in general, because they're going to force you to mandatory get vaccines, and I guarantee you, Corona is going to be one of them in public school. And I can tell you that pretty much based on the fact that I'm in public school right now teaching. You're going to probably have to have the kid have a vaccine unless you go private or unless you go homeschool. That's what it's going to be. Just being straight off with you.
Oh yeah, no, I'm definitely going the homeschool route. That's already decided.
Yeah, that's the only way you're going to get away with it, because other than that, if you go to school, that's just plain how it is. They're going to force you to get it.
They don't have like the religious exemption or anything like that.
No, I do not think that the Jews can get away with this one. I don't think they can even get out of this one.
Well, I'm not Jewish.
It's the only religion where I think I know that they have like the vaccine stuff, but they don't have I think that's the only one. I don't think Christians have that. I think we just basically are sheep and listen to everything. So I think they don't care about us too much. But I think all religion stuff is going to be exempted after that point.
Maybe consider taking up Satanism just for the religious exemption of the vaccinations.
Yeah, they would be like, hey, you're Satanism. That you know what's in your 10 commandments? Take vaccines. That's what it's going to be. So I don't even know at this point. It's going to be awful.
I'm joking. But like one of the big, like I think it's like their fifth tenet is that your understanding of science should like be able to dictate your decision making, and they refer back to it when it comes to what they call ritual abortions. But I'm just like, I'm thinking if it's, can be applied that way, that can probably be, like I'm a Satanist, so you can't make me take a vaccination because it's against my religion. You can't sacrifice, bodily autonomy or whatever.
And then they would just pin you down like George Floyd and just zap you with one and walk away and be like, okay, here we go. Goodbye. We'll see you next time in 3 years when your shot's due. And then that would be it.
That would be assuming that I would already be high on fentanyl and meth and
I'm going to say this for my own butt. Allegedly. I'm going to say it for my own butt. Allegedly he was on fentanyl.
Yeah. Allegedly his toxicology report came back and he was on enough drugs to kill multiple people. It allegedly was on the body cam of one of the police officers, him doing the drugs. So I don't know, allegedly.
Yeah. Hey, so whenever this goes on YouTube, or if you go on YouTube, I'm just allegedly helping you out for the fact that they like to allegedly pull down stuff. Allegedly, like when you put a CDC thing up there that's literally quoted from the CDC, and they don't like the stat, they will flag it and pull it down like that.
Oh, really?
It's already happened. I've never had a video pulled down in my life, except for about a month ago when I was doing a CDC video with actual documentation in front of me from the WHO and CDC, and from quotes from Dr. Fauci, and they legitimately yanked the thing that I had to actually go through a 48-hour process to get the video back up, which thankfully it got back up, but I didn't get the views it was supposed to get because they pulled it down in prime time.
Wow, that sucks.
So,
speaking of which, how do you feel about the most recent CDC numbers?
Who are the most recent CDC members? Or
Oh,
numbers? My bad. I think you said members. No, numbers. I was saying it back in March. I was saying it back in April, May. Anybody goes back to my timeline, I am one of the first people to come out and say that this is a bunch of bull crap. I see this happening. They're literally, I think that back then they were already counting numbers towards people that weren't even sick. Like, oh yeah, that person has corona and they died. I legitimately know about 20, 30 people who went to go get tested, signed in, did not fill the paperwork out or do the test, left to go get lunch, were late, got a call back saying, hey, you all were tested positive. They didn't take the
you
test.
know people personally?
Personally, I can tell you at least 20 people that I know personally that I've worked with or that I have connection through with family, like not like family through family, like one person through. They were like, yeah, we showed up and didn't take it. And then they got a call back an hour later saying, yeah, you have it. And they
Yeah,
had to go get
I've
tested.
heard a lot of cases like that myself, but I haven't known anyone myself um, for to have that happen. So that's interesting that you know so many. Um,
Yeah, it's not fun. It's not fun knowing that. And then the fact that I actually had to go get tested because my job was like, hey, they're like, um, one of the people in your camp got corona in your group. Now it could be a false positive, we don't know. And the kid has no symptoms, but we have to go and get you tested. So I had to go, drive over, get the hour test, and then I actually got another test because I went to get it quicker. So I took two tests, which by the way, it is so it's so painful when they get it up there. But I had to take it to go back to work. It's not the vaccine, so I'm not taking the vaccine, so I'm fine. I'm just getting tested. Both came back negative, but I was like, it's annoying. Just them sticking. It looks like a military base you're driving into. You got everybody around you. Some guys have guns, and I'm like, oh goodness, this is a little scary walking in here.
Wait, I'm sorry. Can you? They had. It's like a. What kind of place did you?
It's like national. I imagine like a MASH unit, but like with guys outside with like I think it's National Guard type guys just standing there, just watching over everything. It looks like it looks like an army zone, like you're going through like a checkpoint pretty much.
Wow, that's insane.
So
Talk about dystopian future type stuff.
yeah. Hmm?
It's extremely dystopian.
Yeah, it's absolutely and again, it's only going to get worse because we gave the power up. I'm not saying me or you, but we as a nation gave the power up as people and said, okay, yeah, we'll wear the mask, we'll not go outside, we'll not do this or that. You know what? Because we want to just obey and we want to just keep going through. And you know what? They'll give you your rights back. Don't even worry about it. I had arguments. I got screamed at by relatives and people that I know and love for saying that we're not going to get our rights back. And I was saying this back in March and April before we lost everything. I'm like, guys, we're going to lose it if we keep doing this. And they're like, no, we're not. No, we're not. You're just being a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah, my family.
I had multiple apologies come back within the past couple of weeks saying we're so sorry for saying that.
Yeah, my family's not the apology type, but I get what you're saying. I actually on Twitter a couple days ago was or maybe like it was just yesterday or the day before, um, when I shared the numbers that the CDC released that it was only roughly like 9,000 deaths from just COVID. And I was just like, I'll accept apologies in the form of gift cards and fruit baskets. Thank you very much.
That's pretty good. I should have did that too. That might be the way to go now. Hey, if I'm wrong, I'll send you something. But if I'm right, just send me a little gift basket with some.
Now, not me / culture. Any donations?
That's fantastic. Now just buy me one Apple stock and we'll all be good. And that's all I need. Just give me one stock and Apple. But gosh, it's absolutely. Like I had people again from that lovely organization, Turning Point USA. I had people that I went on podcasts with, and they're like, "This is back like before everything got really crazy when they were starting to like mandate everything." And they're like, "The government's not going to overreach. Trump knows what he's doing. This is blah, blah."
Right around CPAC.
Basically, I would say about a couple weeks before CPAC, before it really got crazy, and before they really shot down everything.
Yeah.
They were like, yeah, it's not going to happen. They're not pulling over people in Rhode Island for having a New York license plate. They're not doing no knock warrants in Rhode Island. They're not literally putting trackers on people in Kentucky. They're not doing that. And I had to legitimately pull videos up and show them during the podcast, like, hey, this is going on. And they're like, they go, we're going to listen to the government because the government has our best interest. This is literally, this is what a conservative organization with a small government mentality, quote unquote, was saying to me. So that just shows you how much money is being funneled into just like, hey, let's just keep everything within the government. We love Trump. Don't hurt him. He's our boy. That's all it is. I hate it.
The mob mentality is alive on both fronts.
Yeah, that's to say the least. And I think it's, you could almost say it's worse on Trump's side because I don't think mob mentality is with Biden. I don't think anybody likes him. I think the mob mentality is on Trump because no matter what he says, no matter what he does, as long as he does something at all, he's going to get a million retweets. He's going to get a bunch of great comments towards him, and he's going to get praised by everybody on the right because they get canceled. Simple as that.
Well, I mean, aggressively being in favor of or opposed to gets you shadow banned and censored across the board, honestly. So it's just like it's weird to see who gets the attention and I don't know.
Yeah. I
following
mean,
his social media presence and following how that doesn't even really correlate with what his administration says or what he says when he comes out and does these press reports. And
yeah. Don't worry. The monitor in chief is going to help us out. He's going to monitor the situation about censorship and what's going on in all these places. He's going to monitor the gun stuff going on. Don't worry. He's going to monitor the wall stuff. He's going to monitor the stuff going on in China. He's going to monitor TikTok. He's going to monitor Saudi Arabia. He's going to monitor over the Middle East. That's all he is. He's the monitor in chief. You might as well just put a screen and a keyboard in front of him because that's all he really is at this point.
yeah. Well, I mean, the thing that I've heard a lot and I've seen people talk about as far as like more conspiratorial sides is that his big focus in politics was like this pedogate type stuff, and there's been a lot of arrests in that regard, and he was talking about Pizzagate, 4 or 5 years before it went mainstream. So it's interesting to see that kind of stuff because it doesn't really get talked about at all. But he is one of the most prominent presidents to address, human trafficking and child trafficking. So
and Miss Maxwell is a wonderful woman who I hope she has a nice fair trial. That's definitely.
That's not what he said. Didn't he say like I wish her well?
Yeah, you're wishing a known pedophile well. Imagine if Biden said that.
That could be sarcasm. That could be taken in a million different ways, and like Trump is kind of known for that kind of stuff.
But I'll say this: if Biden said it in a press conference like that, every Sean Hannity in the world would have been over that. Every single one of them. Biden wished her well.
I'm not saying wrong, but Biden also doesn't have like a history of snarky humor, and Trump does. So, yeah, like I can see Trump saying like, Ghislaine Maxwell, I wish her well. Like I don't like it's all about.
I hope you're right. I hope you're right. And again, I don't think he's a pedophile. I really don't. He seems to be more into the older women like Stormy Daniels. So I really, at this point, I don't. Well, I mean, he's not.
Even though that was fake. So, it's like.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just one of those things where I
think he is attracted to older women. I don't think he's attracted to young women. I think it's way more. The evidence points way more towards Biden being a creep, and that's because of just based off of how he's willing to act in public. I mean, he is clearly demented, but he has a long history of just being very inappropriate and handsy with people of all ages and genders, and that whole group, they have the stink about them. If it looks like a duck and it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it might have raped a child, allegedly.
You know what? I figured it out. 2024. We put Kanye West as the president. We put Rand Paul as the vice president, and we do it like a Bush Cheney thing, where the actual guy in charge is the vice president, and the guy in front is just walking around, just doing his thing, acting like a cowboy. I think that's what we should do. I think you would be down for that.
Yeah, I mean,
That's the way it went.
yeah. I mean, that's, not too far off of what we have right now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Pence is in charge. I think there's somebody else.
Hence, I don't think the VP is directly in charge, but I'm just saying, like, the structure of it all is not that far off of where we're currently residing.
I mean, at this point, you might as well. You know what? It would at this point. I'm almost black pilled in the sense where, like, you know what? Let's just have some fun. I mean, at that point, it would just be fun, and we're already gone. I mean, admittedly, we're nowhere where we were 20 years ago, where we were at America with the bald eagle and the F yeah America, the chant going through. We're nowhere near that. We're in a time where nobody really likes each other and we're all divided. So at this point, we might as well have fun with it.
Well, I mean, the last time it was really like that was 19 years ago around 9/11.
Oh. So one of two things is going to happen then. Either we're going to get further divided, or we're going to have somebody knock up on the door and say, "Hey, son, would you like to blow up a federal building?" It's going to be that type of stuff. And those memes. So that's the only way that's going to unify us. I don't know. I don't want that. But again, I could see politicians, hey, we need to do something to get this country back together, and fearful. Oh, let's do this. So yeah, I mean, basically at the end of the day, I'm a little black pilled. It's been a rough year for 2020. I've had some stuff go up and down, but overall, it's been pretty good. I mean, I'm alive. I didn't get COVID. I didn't die. Nothing. I didn't go financially under or anything, so that's good. But other than that, it's you know what? Kanye West tweets made my year. Hashtag Kanye 2020. I know how much Kim loves that. Again, please check us out on YouTube, Instagram, and I think Twitter. We're still up. I don't know. 2 Classy Gentlemen Podcast. The number 2 Classy Gentlemen Podcast. Go check it out.
All right.
Boom. That's my radio voice.